Hi everybody, welcome back to my live vlog. So as you can see, I'm all done up in cosplay. Today's subject, if you hadn't guessed, is cosplay, but not any cosplay. It's about this show that just premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel a few weeks ago called Cosplay-Heroes. Um, it stars Yaya Han, who's a world-renowned cosplayer, and a couple of other people who are up and coming in the cosplay scene, I guess you could say. Um, I watched all of the up-to-date episodes. It's only been 3 so far, and my feelings on it were really mixed, mostly negative, and I'll explain why. So, viewing it, I took a couple of notes, and I noticed that in the intro of the show, they call it the sexy, creative, cutthroat world of cosplay. So, I've never really known of cosplay to be cutthroat necessarily. That just seems like a little too aggressive for something that's supposed to be fun and lighthearted. People take a lot of time and manifest their costumes, sometimes over a year building costumes. And of course you want to be recognized for your hard work, but cutthroat is a little extreme. Um, One of the contestants who was on the very first episode, and then she was on the second episode, and she said, and I quote, "Cosplay is serious for me. It's not for fun. I try to recreate things for movies." That's awesome. I think two of the major segue jobs from being a really good cosplayer is creating props for film or television, or creating costumes for film and television. If you're really good at leather work and sewing and all those things, then you probably could make some serious money off of making props. I know that movie makeup personally can make you a lot of money. Um, Yaya Han, and I quote, said, "Some call me the queen of cosplay. I prefer the ambassador of cosplay." And that was nice of her to say. However, I do like Yaya Han. I like her a lot. Her costumes are gorgeous. She seemed to be a nice person. But after I watched the show, it really didn't paint her in the most positive light. She was really kind of bitchy, to be honest. And it seemed like everything that she had to say was the way that cosplay is supposed to be. And that brings me to one of the other points that I have to say. There was at one point that I think it was in the second episode where about 6 of the cosplayers, including Yaya Han, were all having dinner together. And one girl who actually has a cosplay blog, I want to say her name was Courtney or something, can't remember. Anyway, she did a Lydia cosplay from Beetlejuice, which was really cool, from the Beetlejuice cartoon. And it was awesome, and it was her first shot. And she was sitting at dinner with them, and she was talking about how she was saying, "Oh, well, you know, it should be fun. Like, it's supposed to be fun." And everyone else was so serious. The first prize is like $1,000. That's pretty legit. But I know lots of other contests in general, you could win a lot more money than that for your talent, per se. And they went on this whole tirade saying, you know, you can't just cosplay as whatever you want. You have to be a certain size. You have to look a certain way. And there was one specific girl who was she was already thin, and she was really serious about her weight. And she was just like, well, you know, you have to worry about what the people on the internet say. Who cares about what people on the internet say? There is thousands, probably millions of negative things said about people on the internet. And if you're worrying so much about what anonymous people say, then you'll be worrying about that forever. And then they brought up the fact about being overweight and cosplaying. And I mean, they didn't go into race, but I'll mention that later. Being overweight in cosplay, I'm not thin. I'm not really skinny. I've actually been criticized for doing this costume being the size that I am. I think it looks good. Other people think it looks good. So I don't really give a damn. This is one of the costumes that I probably made the least amount of things on it. I only made my little head wings. Everything else I bought, I modded the back wings, which are obviously high up. Morgan's come out of her lower back. That was too much for the time constraint that I had to do this costume. I bought the corset. Who cares? You know, I think I cosplay because characters that I like, I want to recreate them in real life. I've always liked Morgan. Every character that I've cosplayed via the 20 plus costumes I've made, they have all been characters that I liked. And I did notice something in the show that rubbed me the wrong way, where it seemed like the people were just kind of doing characters for a wow factor and not necessarily because they liked the characters or really cared about the construction of their costumes. Most of the costumes were really well constructed, but their attitudes weren't very positive. A couple of the girls repeatedly talked about how they had low self-esteem, but made these amazing costumes. And, you know, looking for the wrong type of attention. And I feel that that's misplaced. I think that recently, with the boom of nerd culture being so popular, a lot of people have taken it and run with it in the wrong way. Some people have taken it as a modeling opportunity. If they couldn't make it in real modeling, they decided to be cosplay models and just wear sexy naked costumes because, you know, that would get them attention. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to show off your body, this is obviously a sexy costume, but I like Morgan. You know, this is a character I've always loved since I was a kid. But you know, I don't think that it's anyone's dictatorship to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. There are overweight people, just like I've said in my other blog, there are overweight characters. And I don't think necessarily you need to be a size 0 to cosplay. You don't need to be white to cosplay. You don't need to be Asian to cosplay. You can be whatever you want to. Cosplay is creative and it's an art, and it should be looked at as fun, not a cutthroat, you know, take all comers type of thing. That's not the way you should look at it. A couple of other points that I have from the show. Yaya Han also had a mentor who, this girl decided to be like a steampunk Poison Ivy. Her costume was okay, but Yaya Han was saying, you know, you should go for quality, not for cleavage, basically. And she said, you know, don't jump your guns and just try to be sexy and think that you can win, which is true. Just because you're sexy doesn't mean that you can win. But she was worried that this girl was taking an influence of the wrong crowd or whatever, because her friend was also a sexy cosplay model. You know, and Yaya Han isn't the god of cosplay. And I think that that's pretty much why Vampy Bit Me didn't choose to be on the show, because to be honest, the show isn't really about competition. The way that the show is formulated is really strange, and if you're confused while I'm explaining it, it's because it's confusing. The show is set up where in the beginning screen, they show all the people that are highlighted on the show, and then they show Yaya Han at the end because she's the host. They go to different conventions on every episode and just do the masquerade ball. If you've never been to an anime convention or a comic book convention, the masquerade ball is the cosplay sketch competition. You can come out and you personify your character, and you know, can do all the moves and all cool stuff. And that gets you points with the judges. They usually judge you on creativity, construction, originality, all of those things. I've entered a couple of them, and that's all they do. It's not like a closed set on like this finite stage with these panel of judges, which I thought, that was the impression that I had when I was told about the show. And it seems like it should be that, to win one large prize at the end, where, you know, and some of these people have like studios in their garage to erect these amazing props or armor suit costumes and all of these things. Give them something to look forward to, not $1,000 check that isn't really going to push them forward into anything. you're not really, I mean, $1,000 is a good incentive, but it's not really an opportunity to anything, to be perfectly honest, not in this world, in this day and age. And all of the other competitions, they win, not to say that for cosplay you should win $100,000, but, you know, some of these other competitions have these big prizes. You win a car, you win all these things at the end. And this one doesn't. It's really just for Yaya Han. And I noticed that very quickly in watching the first episode. She's a really hard worker with her costumes. Her costumes are very legit. And she is in the place that she is for a reason. But, you know, for the show really just to be kind of a celebrity search thing for her is really sad, because the other people worked really hard and they barely get any spotlight. And a couple of the episodes, none of the people that are highlighted on the show even won anything. So that's just really strange, and I don't really understand the point of the show, to be honest. It's just kind of like we're filming this convention and showing the masquerade. Oh, well, I said that earlier, that there's a difference between cosplaying a character because you love it and cosplaying it because it just seems like, you know, something that you'll win with. And, you know, that's just, I think that really sours the whole cosplay community. Moving on to race for cosplay. That is a very hot button issue. A lot of people feel different ways about specific black cosplayers. And I always think that's really sad. I feel like if any other race can do it, why can't black cosplayers be whatever character they want to be? Because your skin color is different doesn't mean that you're fixed to these 10 characters in anything that happen to be black. We know that there aren't a lot of black nerd characters. And the few that there are, I'm sure dozens of people have cosplayed them many, many times. Just that white people can cosplay as black characters. It shouldn't matter. It's supposed to be fun. And with the dawning of the show, I feel like that adds to the attitude that it's become less fun for some people. And it shouldn't be that way. Especially for younger people that are cosplaying, teenagers, little kids. It's fun. We've gone to C2E2 pretty much every year since it started. Or I know I have. That's it's the Chicago Entertainment Expo, or Comic Book Expo. And it's really big. It's become kind of bigger than Wizard World here in Chicago. And there was a masquerade competition, and there were these group of kids that all dressed like Avatar from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And they were like 5 different characters from the show, and the father that was with them, or the father figure, was the Earth King. If you've ever watched the show, it's one of my favorites. Check it out if you haven't. But they were awesome, and they had so much fun, and they looked just like the characters, even if they didn't. And a keynote, they were all black. All of these little kids were black, and they had a blast. They got tons of pictures. It was adorable, and they actually ended up winning the contest. They won like 2 years in a row, I'm pretty sure. Those are the things that cosplay is about for me, and I think that it should be that way for anybody. Just because, you know, something isn't exactly the way it should be doesn't mean anything. A lot of my costumes have actually been alternate costumes for characters or alternate versions. I love changing things up. I don't think everything should be exactly how it looks in the picture. And that was another thing that was heavily pushed in the show, that everything specifically has to look just like this character on you, like perfectly. And a lot of them pulled that off, but if it's not, who cares? Like, humans aren't cartoon characters for a reason, or comic book characters, or video game characters. So I think that's about all that I have to say about Cosplay-Heroes. I hope that review was very good. I think that you guys should watch the show just to see your perspective. I would love to see what other people think about it, because I found it a very I don't know, confusing show. It didn't get too many positive reviews from me. I'm opening the floor for any questions. If anybody has any questions for me, anyone in the room or anyone in the chat. By the way, thank you, all of you, for checking in and watching the show. So go ahead and ask any questions, guys.
I should like cue up the Jeopardy music.
Right.
Man, you just missed an awesome play.
Man, you just missed
no, I
an
didn't.
awesome play.
I got direct
No,
TV
you didn't.
on Sunday
Oh,
ticket.
no,
Nancy
ads.
and the beer.
Okay, why has cosplay gotten so crazy serious over the years? That was asked by Green Lantern 99. I'm not really sure. I've wondered that myself. I've been cosplaying for, oh my gosh, since like 2004. And it's really kind of blown up over time. And I'm happy that it's blown up. But I'm not really sure what's attracted so much craziness. I feel a lot of it, like I said before, is, the girls that are trying to be models and they couldn't make it as regular models. So, they're turning to nerd culture and cosplaying, and being booth babes, which if that pays your bills, that's fine. But it really kind of makes it makes a crazy bar for other people that are just doing it for fun or entering the contest because they worked a year on their costumes and they want some recognition for it. Let's see. Tell us about a crazy cosplay experience. Let's see, a personal crazy cosplay experience probably would be or I could tell you a really crazy one. I was preparing this specific costume about 2 years ago, and I had taken like a couple pictures, and I was told that I was too fat to wear it and that I shouldn't wear it outside at all. And I totally wore it to ACEN that year, and I had a blast, and my little cousin was Lilith, and we had a great time. I had lots of pictures. And probably another really funny cosplay experience that stands out in my head is when I was, there's a game on, I don't know if it's on Xbox, but it was on PS3 a few years back called Fat Princess. And I was the pink princess. And I was walking around and I figured a bunch of people thought that I was Princess Peach because it's a pink dress. Even though it doesn't look the same at all. And I ran into one other girl who was the blue princess, which was hilarious. And we were the only ones from that game. And she was like, I thought I would never find anybody. So that was really fun. Do you have any future cosplays planned? If so, what? Yes, that was from Drop Them 21. I have a couple. I was thinking of being Velma from Scooby-Doo. I was thinking of probably doing some Dragon's Crown costumes. I think those will be fun. I haven't thought of too many more that I've wanted to be. I've asked a couple people what they think, because I haven't cosplayed in a while, so that would be pretty interesting. Let's see. Drop Them 21. If a girl is showing a lot of cleavage, can she be mad that guys are staring at her? That kind of goes into some of my other blogs. I don't think she should get angry if someone is staring at her, but it also depends on the creepiness level. If you're kind of being really creepy and you're not really leaving the girl alone, then yeah, she has every reason to be creeped out or trying to touch the girl. But if it's just a friendly, hello, can I take your picture type of thing, or your costume is awesome, sure, that's fine. But, I've definitely seen some pretty raunchy costumes where girls are wearing, like, basically just bikinis, and they shouldn't be confused about the attention. Ultimate Dream Cosplay from Dancerita. Ultimate Dream Cosplay, there would probably be, I have a few. One of them would actually probably be the Amazon from Dragon's Crown. She's pretty badass, and I would just need a bikini body to do that. But that would probably be a really big dream cosplay. Let's see. Wolsick 225. Do you think there should be more boundaries when it comes to people touching cosplayers? Well, I really don't think you should touch anybody without their permission. I feel like, you know, unless they're welcoming or they, you know, make some type of pose with you, then obviously that's okay. But I don't think you should go out of your way to like physically touch someone without them knowing at all. Or one other one for the future cosplay one is Mad Moxxie from Borderlands 2. I've wanted to do that for a while. I think that'll be fun. Let's see. Any others that I haven't answered? Best cosplay I've ever seen, worst cosplay I've ever seen, from Green Lantern 99. Best cosplay I've ever seen was probably this girl, and I've actually talked about her a couple of times. I saw her at ASIN, which is Anime Central. It's a huge anime convention that happens here every spring. And this was about 2-3 years ago, something like that. And she was dressed like the spirit of the forest from Princess Mononoke. If you've never seen Princess Mononoke, at least just Google the spirit of the forest. She had a full body costume, and it had all of the leaves and flowers and the antlers. It even went down to like her feet looking like hooves. It was really, really cool. That was probably one of the best costumes I've ever seen in person. Worst cosplay, none that I can say that stand out to me. I mean, I've seen a couple, mostly from people just not caring about what their makeup looks like or what their wigs look like or something like that. But that probably is something that I would have to say about cosplay construction. If you're going to do it, at least make it look nice. Make it look like you took time and like you cared about it. Not from a Yaya Han perspective, but from a perspective that, you know, you like cosplaying and, you know, take some time to look good before you go out of the hotel room and, you know, have people taking your pictures. It's, you know, it just makes you look better, and it makes cosplay look better. So it doesn't just look like it's a bunch of grubby nerds in their costumes that they've worn all weekend. My cosplay idol, or someone that I look up to. I don't really have a cosplay idol. I just cosplay because I like costume making and I like theatrical makeup and things. I have a couple of cosplayers that I really like, and there are some that I don't really like, just because their popularity is off of the booth babe garbage. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a cosplay idol, so I hope that answers your question. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If I don't have any more questions, I'm going to sign off because Wednesday Night Fights is coming up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this special edition of my blog, and tune in a couple weeks and we will have another subject for you, which I'm totally open to suggestions. Thanks, guys. See you next time.